What's up everybody, SuperDorks fan here for another car review. This is of course the 2016 Cadillac CTS-V. Huge thanks to Cadillac for providing me with this epic CTS-V to review for you guys today. So about the all-new CTS-V here, well, in its third generation, it's mesmerizing to look at. I think this generation CTS looks amazing on its own, and then with the V treatment, hello, it's just epic. This one has the carbon fiber pack as well, which trims everything up very nicely, with that front lip in carbon fiber, the hood vents in carbon fiber, the rear diffuser in carbon fiber, and oh my gosh, I mean, from every angle it looks amazing. You have these very nice 19-inch wheels that are blacked out as well, and everything's all nicely blacked out for the most part, and it just looks absolutely sinister. This looks like Batman's daily driver. I mean, that's seriously the impression I get whenever you see this thing in person. It's just mind-blowingly epic and intimidating. Whereas for the interior of the CTS-V, well, it feels special, that is for sure. Anyway, first things first, sitting down in these seats, they are magnificent Recaros. They're optional Recaros, but they are worth every penny. I mean, obviously they look great, for one. For two, they feel great. These are basically the perfect seats. They have tons of adjustability, including adjusting all the side bolsters, thigh and torso support, so that you can make them as wide or as tight as you want. So especially for someone that's thinner like myself, you can really make these bolsters super tight, even too tight for my preference. And really, I mean, so they hug you in perfectly. They're firm enough to feel sporty, but soft enough to still be comfortable. And honestly, they are perfect seats. Next is the steering wheel in the CTS-V, which is much like you'd get in any other normal CTS. It's a nice wheel. This one has the optional micro suede material on it here, and that certainly makes it feel a little bit extra special here. And it's a pretty nice wheel. I love the design of it and the look of it. I love the capacitive touch buttons again, like you get over with the center here. The 9 & 3 grip isn't the most comfortable in the world, but it is a pretty good grip. You do get a good grip of the wheel. You have nice 10 & 2 notches. You have very nice metal. You can hear the metal clink of these very nice metal paddles, and they feel great to use, and they're a nice reach away from the normal 9 & 3 grip here, so they don't get in your way, but they're not super far away, so they're still easy to reach. Gauges in the CTS-V are completely digital, which is an option in the base CTS, but here in the V is extra special. You got additional gauges, of course, and depending on what mode you're in, the main tachometer gauge there will change colors, but it's totally customizable. So on the right hand side there, you can have a wide variety of information. I prefer to have the boost pressure, of course, and then on the left hand side there, you can custom tailor that one as well, so you can have exactly the information you want to see, and really nice that it's so customizable and very attractive, very high resolution looking gauges that for someone that's just glancing in the car briefly, they look like they're actual gauges. They don't even look digital. It's that high resolution and that high quality. Coming over to the center of the dashboard here in the CTS-V, it's really nice. I mean, I know some people hate this Q system and all the capacitive touch stuff. I think it works really well. I have no complaints with it. I think that people complain about it way too much. I think it's a bad rap for no reason. Anyway, first thing though, you have the standard 8-inch screen like you get in a lot of the other GM models here. Same basic menus and whatnot. Really well done. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto here, which is a huge perk as well, to help to make this feel very modern and whatnot, and really nicely done. Navigation, all kind of stuff is like you'd seen in any other Cadillac. This one does have the optional performance data recorder, which is a very cool little setup with a little camera here right underneath the rearview mirror, that will not only just record everything going on in front of you, much like a GoPro or something, but it will also overlay whatever information you'd like. So you can have it so that it's showing you your speed and your G and also the RPM, which is an awesome feature that you wouldn't be able to get with a GoPro or any other cameras like that. So really awesome. It's $1,300, so it's cheaper than a GoPro for sure, but if that's something you think you'd use a lot, I think it's well worth the money. Very nicely integrated. There's a little SD card slot right in the glove box there, and it couldn't be simpler to use. Coming down to the climate controls here, like I said, all capacitive touch, and I think it actually looks really slick. I love it. They're all very responsive, easy to use, and overall I think it's just really nicely done. As far as storage space in the CTS-V, like any other CTS, it's pretty good. So anyway, first things first, you have map pockets here on the doors. They do have a little bit of a cutout for a bottle, but you know, couldn't fit a huge bottle in there, but could probably fit a small one. So nice to have that. Coming over to the center, you have this very cool little piece that pops out here and has a wireless charging pad hidden away in there, and it also has a USB jack. It's a really nice place to, you know, store your phone, especially if you're, you know, using Apple CarPlay, stuff like that. You can leave it in there. And then you have your two cup holders, which are also power, you know, covered here, and really awesome little setup there, and nice size cup holders. You have a little cubby here that just basically houses the power outlet, and another very small pouch that, you know, could hold the key or something like that. And then you have the center armrest, which is you know, a little bit on the firm side. I wish it was a little bit softer, but it is, you know, nicely covered in leather here. And you open that up, and then you have a fairly decent sized center cubby here that you can fit, you know, sunglasses, things like that without a problem. You also have another power outlet. You have a regular plug-in power outlet as well, which is interesting. And you also have two USB jacks in there and an auxiliary jack. Backseat space in the CTS-V is really spacious. I'm 5'9", me sitting behind myself, I probably have 6 inches of legroom there at least. You know, plenty of headroom and a very comfortable back seat. It's also in this one this one is loaded up, by the way. This whole car, the sticker price is $100,330. So I mean, this one has just about every option. So you have, you know, the climate controlled rear seats there as well. You can have them, you know, heated, and they can also control their temperature back there, which is nice. You do also have a fold down center armrest with cup holders and a pass through there for you know, skis and things like that. And those rear seats do also fold down completely. So if you're, you know, looking for something with a little more versatility, since there is no CTS-V wagon unfortunately this time around, you at least can fold down those rear seats. Trunk space in the CTS-V is pretty good. It's on par with most other stuff this size. You know, should be able to fit a couple of suitcases, a couple of golf bags, all with ease. Another thing I want to mention real briefly is this golden carbon fiber weave, which is just beautiful and really sets it off with, you know, the yellow stitching, and of course you have the golden seat inserts here, and overall just really helps to brighten up what would otherwise be a pretty dark interior. All right, so let's start up and go for a drive. So the CTS-V has just a very nice key fob. You leave that in your pocket, of course, has a push button start. So you just put your foot on the brake and it roars to life. So setting off in the 2016 Cadillac CTS-V. Well, if you've ever encountered any other CTS before, you'll feel right at home here. You know, I reviewed the CTS-V Sport already, so this feels very similar, you know, as far as visibility and things like that are concerned. You know, you have a very good view forward there. You know, hood drops down pretty nicely. The hood comes up a little bit within your field of vision there, but you know, it's nothing you have to peer out over or anything like that. No big deal whatsoever. Otherwise, you know, side visibility is very good. Of course, being a four-door, you know, a pretty thin B-pillar there as well, so pretty easy to see around that, to, you know, see the rear windows there. Rear visibility is pretty good. The deck does come up kind of high. Another thing that's really impressive though about the V is just how quiet, refined, and sophisticated it feels. As far as, you know, you have this exhaust that, you know, even in sport mode here, you can't hear it unless you get on it. It can behave whenever it wants to. You know, it can put on its suit and tie and be very professional, and you can carry on a conversation very easily. The ride is very smooth as well. So, you know, it's firm enough that you can tell it's a little bit on the sportier side. It's sportier than a regular CTS. Alrighty guys, so because this car is so fast, I'm gonna turn onto this straight road here first. See how 640 horsepower feels. And here we go. Jeez, that was third gear and it still was getting squirrely on me. Holy crap! So, we're dealing with a car with 640 horsepower, 630 pound-feet of torque from this supercharged 6.2 liter V8 engine, the LT4, the same one out of the Z06. 0 to 60 time 3.7 seconds for this puppy. And we have a red light here. Don't have too much room, but let's try again. Oh man, that's fun. Ooh, I got like an adrenaline buzz. I'm like shaking here. Ooh, Woo! So yes, very impressive performance, and it's crazy. It's mixed the two blends. I was worried it was either going to be like riding a wild bull and it'd be wildly uncontrollable, or that it would be, you know, just like the BMWs and stuff now, that there isn't very much drama and they just stay in a straight line very easily, and all the computers do everything for you. But this strikes a perfect blend of both. You can feel it when it gets squirrely. Those 295 wide Michelin Pilot Super Sports back there are clinging on for dear life, but they're doing a pretty good job of it, because it gives you a little bit of slip to give you that drama and that excitement, but not enough slip for you to kill yourself. And so it's really marvelous, magnificent, and yes, lots and lots of fun. And again, some wheel spin there. Once you calm down though, and you're just cruising here, it's very nice, it's comfortable, it's quiet, it's a very nice cruiser. Alright, so we know this thing is mind-blowing in a straight line, so let's see how it handles the corners. I'm not expecting to be let down here, because this vehicle does have 265 with front tires, you know, these Michelin Pilot Super Sports, and like I mentioned, the rears are 295, so should be a pretty good handler here. Very tight corners, not going to be pushing it, you know, a ton, but wow, it's, yeah, definitely so flat, so much grip, and it just, wow, yeah, the body control, I mean, it's a fairly heavy vehicle. We're at, you know, 41, 45 for the weight here. You got these nice Brembo brakes to slow you down really, really well. But it's it's fun. I mean, I can tell that I'm not even getting close to the limits of this vehicle, but even at, you know, those speeds, it still was fun. It's still enjoyable. You still get the, you know, supercharger whine, and you get, you know, the power you can use a little bit there. Another thing is the steering weight is really nice and heavy, and it feels great, you know. I mean, it's probably a little heavier than some people would even like, but I love it. I think, you know, it just underlines this is the V. Other things to note while we're stuck in traffic here, throttle response is pretty good. It's not razor sharp. It could be a little bit sharper if I'm honest, but it feels totally fine. And you know, you kind of want to have a little bit of a dead travel there, when, you know, to kind of make you contemplate, do you really want to put your foot into it that much whenever it's something that's as fast as this is? And how about another acceleration? Because why not? Oh yes. This thing gets up to high speeds so stupidly fast. It's so funny. Another thing that's equally as impressive is these brakes, which haul you down to a stop quick and feel really beefy. They have great bite right at the very top of the pedal there, really. It's really nice how beefy the brakes feel. You can tell this car is very well balanced. You know, it's not like a muscle car that's overpowered and it doesn't have enough brakes and things like that. The chassis is totally capable of handling this power, and the brakes are totally capable of hauling you down from these high speeds, and everything is just very evenly matched. You can tell it's just a very well-rounded sports sedan, super sedan, I should say, in just about every way, and it's just, they haven't neglected anything with this. It's really impressive. This is one of those cars where any kind of nitpicky, dumb little thing you can complain about it's all wiped away and all forgiven the second that you stomp on the gas. This is a car that you can't exaggerate. Exaggeration is impossible when talking about how this thing drives. I mean, it's really anything you ask of it, it will do easily, and I am just on, you know, I mean, this is, if you were at the track, you could probably get close to the limits of this car, but on the streets, you'll never do it, as long as you're driving at, you know, non-insane speeds. It's just, but it's still fun. That's the bottom line, is, you know, stuff like this, you know, you might not be able to go to a track, or you might not want to, but you can still have fun with this on the streets. It still is an absolute riot to drive. I mean, you still got that back end that dances just enough to put you on edge a little bit, but you still feel safe. It doesn't feel like it's trying to kill you. It's just trying to, you know, have fun with you. And you know, I mean, if you're stupid and reckless and careless with your throttle application and you know, just a terrible driver, I mean, I guess you could probably get this thing bent out of shape enough to, you know, hurt yourself. But you know, as long as you're reasonable, I mean, it lets you have your fun and gives you all that excitement while still, you know, being safe. And it's really a perfect blend. Everything is just so well set up in this car. I'm sorry, I could just go on and on all day, but yeah. So anyway, thanks to Cadillac, I have this thing for an entire week, which is going to be one of the best weeks ever. So anyway, I'm going to try this around a lot more, and then I'll come back and give you my final impressions. Alright, so I've been driving the 2016 Cadillac CTS-V here for a whole glorious week, and it has not disappointed one bit at all. It's phenomenal. I've put well over 300 miles on this car in the week that I've had it here, and I just didn't want to get out of it, honestly. It's just so good in every single way. Over the week that I've been driving it though, there are a couple tiny little nitpicky things that I can complain about, just so that this whole review isn't me just glowing about this vehicle. Those tiny nitpicky things are the fit and finish in this vehicle, but the fit and finish stuff, it's minor stuff. Like, you know, there's tiny little panel gaps here where the glove box is. The back seat in the one corner is scrunched up a little bit, it doesn't fit quite right. And that's really about it. You know, there was the odd creak or rattle that you know, would briefly appear for, you know, one drive cycle and then go away. Stuff like that, very minor things that I'm sure the Germans aren't perfect on that stuff either. But, you know, when you're spending, you know, what this car is, $100,000 exactly, basically, you know, stuff like that, I guess you can be a little more tough on a car for than something that's a little cheaper. But then again, I mean, it's just the performance and everything, there's no way that you can complain whenever you compare it to the competitors. Because while we're talking about the competitors, let's think about them for a second here. One, they're all more expensive than this vehicle. Two, they're all less powerful than this vehicle. And three, they're all heavier than this vehicle. So, you know, it stands to reason that they're not going to be as much fun or perform as well. I mean, they'll all be fun cars. I'm sure they're, you know, all riots to drive. For example, I reviewed the M6 Grand Coupe, and that was enjoyable. It was fast, it was impressive, but it wasn't nearly as much fun as this. And this is way cheaper as well. So I really, it's unbeatable. It really is unbeatable. And the crazy thing is, this one is loaded up with options. So if you were to take it easy on the options list, you know, these start in the mid $80,000 range. And, you know, at that price, they really undercut all the competition. And I think that this is the boldest looking of the bunch as well. So even from an aesthetic standpoint, I think this one looks way cooler if you line it up next to all the other competition. It's just so bold. And I mean, everyone that's come across this in the week here that I've been driving it has been like, wow, that is impressive looking. I mean, between, you know, all the aggressive carbon fiber trim with that huge front lip and the whole carbon fiber rear diffuser and that massive spoiler as well, and everything is just so in your face and exciting. And that's what you want. If you want a boring sedan, there's lots of very boring sports sedans that are very good at performing their duties and whatnot, but they don't get you excited. This gets you excited just looking at it. Just walking up to this vehicle every day got me giddy. And then just hitting that engine start button every day and hearing that roar to life of that boisterous V8 engine made me giddy. Just before I even left the driveway, I was already excited to drive this car every single time I got in it. I think in that regard, it actually makes this the perfect daily driver and the most amazing daily driver I think you could own at any price, really, because, you know, you, like I said, you can do everything. You have plenty of room, so you can haul around whoever you want. While we're talking about daily driving this vehicle, though, you know, it is very comfortable and it's a great daily driver. You know, it's not harsh, or, you know, suspension is set up so it's sporty, but it's not harsh in any way, and it feels really great. But in my week of daily driving, two other little nitpicky things that you would notice if you were to daily drive one of these. The first is the fuel economy, which, as you could expect, is pretty terrible. But when you put it into perspective of how much horsepower you're making and how this car has been driven over the course of the past week, it's not really that bad. So in my 330 some odd miles here of driving so far, I've averaged 14.3 miles per gallon. The tens of thousands of dollars you're saving over the German competition, you can put that towards all the gas if you're going to complain about gas prices. So yeah, I don't think the fuel economy is really that much of an issue. And then the only other thing is this 8-speed automatic transmission, which I'm still not totally in love with. I've, you know, reviewed it in the Corvette already, and you know, it's now in the Camaro and stuff as well, and it's a good automatic transmission. It's smooth, and you know, it does its job very well. But whenever you do put it in the manual mode, it's quick enough that it's not annoying, but it's not fast enough to be really satisfying, and it's not as fast as the stuff out of BMW or Porsche or stuff like that. And that's just the way it is, at least in the way that it feels. It's not quite as quick. But we're talking about tenths of a second here at most. I mean, it's, again, truly nitpicking, and it'll shift plenty fast for 99% of people, I think. And it's, like I said, it hasn't annoyed me or anything. It's just something that I've noticed that, like, I hit the paddle, and it took, you know, a split second longer than I was expecting originally, you know. And now, after I've been driving it for a week, it's, you know, something I've gotten used to just fine. But, you know, again, just another little nitpicky thing that you can complain about if you're looking for things to complain about. And it's truly hard to find stuff because, like I said, all that stuff gets blown away. You just forget about it the second you mash this gas or you stomp on these massive brakes, or you go around a super sharp corner, and it just grips and has grip for days. It's really amazing. And yeah, like I said, I absolutely adore it. If I ever wanted a four-door car and I could afford to spend this kind of money, this would be my choice. Plain and simple, I wouldn't have to think twice about it. There is nothing else with four doors that I think would be more fun to drive, honestly. That's just the way it is. I mean, the best four-door car on sale currently, in my opinion. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on the CTS-V, and thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.